The latest last night is something that we have news on. There's a local reporter who works for Arizona Family named Brianna Whitney, who reported that, quote, we can now confirm through an inside source. That's all she says, inside source. Investigators believe Nancy Guthrie abduction was intended burglary, and DNA evidence is currently being tested from the Range Rover that was seen being towed away on Friday. The Range Rover being towed away on Friday is a reference to that um, Friday night raid. This happened late into the evening Friday, where the feds executed a search warrant on a home with a female and a male, believed to be mother son, and then also stopped a Range Rover, a dark gray Range Rover, described by some as silver, though. Um, which we believe he was also connected to the people who were inside that house. It's unconfirmed. That's our understanding, though. And it seems that they may have had a lead directing them to one member of this family, and then, covered the field with a search warrant on somebody driving the car, and then a mother son, we believe, again, pair inside the home, and they searched the home. No arrests were made. And that's still being investigated, but doesn't look like, at least on first glance, they found their man. And they don't think they found their man. But what she's reporting, this Brianna Whitney, is that DNA evidence is currently being tested from that Range Rover that was seen being towed away on Friday. Okay, so that's still an open question. But the part about we can now confirm through an inside source that investigators believe the Guthrie abduction was an intended burglary. To say it's gotten pushback would be to undermine what's actually happened now. Both Michael Ruiz of Fox News Digital and Matt Finn of Fox News and my own sourcing has all said that's not the case. Here's Michael Ruiz. Authorities are distancing themselves from fresh reporting suggesting the Guthrie abduction is believed to be a burglary gone wrong, and that the widespread investigative belief, Brianna also reported this, is that Nancy, quote, could be alive. So they're distancing themselves from that. A local law enforcement source tells me this is not the working theory inside the unit, and adds that nighttime residential burglaries are rare. Sheriff Nanos also spoke with Matt Finn of FNC, quote, did not come from us. No idea. And even though that is one of many possibilities, we would never speculate such a thing. We will let the evidence take us to motive. No suspects have been publicly identified. As you know, the FBI is currently awaiting additional test results on a glove. I'll get to that in a second. Then Matt Finn reporting, the FBI tells me it has no clue where that came from, that they are leaning toward this being a burglary gone bad. So the FBI is pushing back on this with two sources at Fox. I've also gotten pushback on this with my own sources connected to the case. I don't know this reporter, Brianna. She's been good so far, but everybody gets things wrong in the course of an investigation when we're trying to work our sources and get a lead. As she describes hers source, it's just inside source. Don't know what that means, but I think the two reporters at Fox and yours truly all have law enforcement sources, all of whom have told us that's not the case. So I would take that with a hefty grain of salt that they're now looking at this as some sort of burglary gone bad. The other big reported news yesterday came out of NBC and Tom Winter, who reported that authorities are leaning away from the Friday night guy. Again, this is the theory that there's one guy who was suspected, and we don't know why. Maybe it was cell phone tower data that he was near Nancy on the night in question. Maybe it was a tip that was called in. Maybe he looked like the porch man. Maybe he looked like one of the other men that we saw on people's porches last week via Ring video. But something led them to this one man, and it appears his family around him. And NBC's Tom Winter reporting that the officials are leaning away from that guy, away from Carlos, poor Carlos, the DoorDash man, who I thought we'd already ruled him out, but he's reporting that indeed they are leaning away. And he also added that they are leaning away from relatives of Nancy Guthrie, which is an interesting way of phrasing it. What does that mean? Savannah, Annie? Does it include the son-in-law, Tommaso, who's married to Annie? You could thread that needle such that it doesn't, but I think relatives would fairly encompass the son-in-law. And that does not dovetail with our own reporting today. We have contacted our law enforcement sources, and we have been steered off of that, saying no one has been cleared. They have not moved away from anyone. And until they have a perpetrator under arrest, assume everyone is still under scrutiny. So, the NBC report may have led to some in the Guthrie family feeling a bit relieved this morning. I'm here to tell you they should not feel relieved. Everyone is still under scrutiny until someone is in handcuffs, and that includes members of the Guthrie family. Sorry, but that's the truth. And I trust my source absolutely. Okay. This is somebody with impeccable credentials and is in a position to know. And so I wouldn't be getting too relieved if I were anybody in the Guthrie family or elsewhere for that matter. We've never suggested it has to be this guy Tommaso. We haven't suggested that he's off the hook either. So I think keep an open mind. Want to keep going now on the reporting. Okay, that Range Rover that was stopped during the traffic stop the other night. I mean, it is of interest. Like, what led them to this Range Rover? It was stopped in a Culver's parking lot about 2 hours from Nancy Guthrie's home, and the person who was driving it was detained, was handcuffed, and there was plenty of video of the FBI interviewing this man. I think it was the FBI; it was a federal warrant, but the local law enforcement, I believe, was also in the field. He was later released. No arrests made, and the vehicle has been impounded and sealed. So they are still trying to extract DNA or other evidence from that vehicle, and who knows whether that one could eventually pan out. I'm drinking more coffee right now because did you guys see the report that those who drank 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day staved off dementia? Like 70% of them. It was crazy. Like the numbers. Check Alex Berenson's X feed because he tweeted out the medical study. Here I go. 2 to 3 has to be caffeinated cups a day, or 1 to 2 cups of tea. Showed amazing results in staving off dementia. So drink your coffee. It's amazing. Over the years, try as they might, they cannot prove that coffee is bad for you. Isn't that a gift? I mean, we're just waiting for the similar study on alcohol. But right now, it's coffee. So drink your coffee and steer clear of the booze because everybody says that one's bad for you. Okay, so no one has been excluded, and pushback on the theory that it's a burglary and also the theory that they've moved away from the family. And here we are 2 weeks and a day removed from the day they determined that Nancy was missing. Yesterday was the 2-week anniversary, if you will, forgive the term, of when she was discovered missing. It was overnight Saturday into Sunday, January 31st into Sunday, February 1st. And perhaps the most promising lead they have to go on right now, other than those porch pictures of the perpetrator, well, there are two, which I want to talk to you about. One is the possibility that Nancy's Nest camera retained other photographs, just like it retained the photographs of Porchman. And Sheriff Nanos gave an interview to the Daily Mail, which was eye-opening, saying, by the way, he too pushed back on the thought that this was a burglary gone bad. He said, again, this is a kidnapping. The only thing we're really looking for was the motive, and that we don't know, but did not seem to think this was some guy trying to burgle the house, which doesn't make any sense anyway. He had a backpack on his back that was stuffed to the gills. That he didn't have some empty bag. Okay, he might have had some Santa's sack inside that he was going to unveil once he walked in, but do we really believe that? Not a thing was taken. If this is a burglary gone bad, wouldn't you at least get your loot? How is his loot was an 84-year-old woman. There is no evidence thus far, nor has Sheriff Nanos even suggested otherwise, that anything was taken inside. And in fact, Nanos has been dumping on the idea that this was a burglary gone bad, which he wouldn't have done if some massive thing of value was missing from inside the home. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Gold can thrive during uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind, given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider letting Birch Gold help you diversify with gold, so you too can have peace of mind regardless of the uncertainty. Text MK to 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.